ご愁傷様。
Science fiction anime are often out of this world when it comes to ideas. They have some of the best world building in anime despite recycling some of the tried and tested sci-fi tropes like spaceship, mechas and plots more twisted than octopus wirings. In fact, some of the best anime are often set in sci-fi universe. For that matter, there is no shortage of sci-fi anime. After all, the limit goes beyond the sky when it comes to sci-fi, and anything is possible as long as story and the characters are compelling. They can also be perfect for bringing a novice into the anime wonderland. Here are the top 10 sci-fi anime that you shouldn't miss. Some are old school operas while others are more recent spaceships. So let's start with our video and let's take a look at the sci-fi animes. On the 10th number, the anime name is Astra Lost in Space. Kanata no Astra is set in a time when the aforementioned things have become possible. Science has advanced so much that the teenagers are going to other planets just simply as a mundane school trip. A group of high schoolers from such a futuristic world are visiting a nearby planet called as Mecha as a camp. Of course though, after arriving on that planet, things don't go as planned for them as they are sucked into a mysterious black orbit that transports them into a space, but luckily for them, they somehow manages to find an abandoned spaceship in the middle of outer space. The spaceship would then become their means of travel as they jump from one planet to another in hopes of surviving and getting back to their home planet together. On the 9th number, the anime name is Akira. The movie starts off with a large mysterious explosion which destroys Tokyo. The movie then begins 31 years later in the Neo Tokyo. Akira for the first 20 minutes or so follows a punk high school bike gang that takes you through a bit of their daily routine so that you can build a relationship and relate with their characters and their world building. Right off the bat, you are introduced to two of the main characters in this movie, Tetsuo and Kaneda. Kaneda is the leader of the bike gang and is more or less what you would expect from a lead anime character. He has a big heart and nerves to never give up. As far as the Tetsuo goes, he is portrayed as a weaker character that is often taken care by the Kaneda. Following a clash with a rival bike gang, the tone of the movie changes and an unknown kid is introduced to the plot, and then movie switches from punk bike gangs to more complex story about mysterious abilities, government experiments and cover-ups. The movie uses a lot of reference about the war and the bombing of Hiroshima. If you follow along closely, you will see there are references used such as when Tetsuo blew up and created the nuclear explosion. Although it doesn't have a direct storytelling of the bombing, there are references that are used to show the point of post-apocalyptic settings and history of war and military power. On the 8th number, the anime name is Ergo Proxy. Within the doomed city of Romdo lies one of the last human civilizations on Earth. Thousands of years ago, a global ecological catastrophe doomed the planet. Now, life outside these domes are virtually impossible. To expedite mankind's recovery, auto-ravis, humanoid-like robots have been created to assist people in their day-to-day lives. However, auto-ravis has begun contracting an enigmatic disease called as cogito virus, which grants them self-awareness. Rei Meyer, granddaughter of Romdo's ruler, is assigned to investigate this phenomenon along with Autoreiv's partner Iggy. But what begins as a root investigation quickly spirals into conspiracy as Rei is confronted by humanity's darkest sin. Elsewhere in Romdo, an Autoreiv specialist by the name of Vincent Law must also face his demons when surreal events begins occurring around him. Rei, Iggy, Vincent and the child Autoreiv named Pino will form an unlikely faction as they will struggle to uncover Romdo's mysteries and ultimately discover the true purpose of the mythical being called as Proxies. On the 7th number, the anime name is Ghost in the Shell. In the year 2029, Nihama City has become a technological advanced metropolis. Due to great improvements in cybernetics, its citizens are able to replace their limbs with robotic parts. The world is now more interconnected than ever before, and the city's public security section 9 is responsible for combating corruption, terrorism and other dangerous threats that follows this shift towards globalization. The strong-willed Major Motoko Kusanagi of section 9 spearheads a case involving a mysterious hacker known only as Puppet Master, who leaves a trail of victims stripped of their memories. Like many in the futuristic world, the Puppet Master's body is almost entirely robotic, giving them an incredible power. As Motoko and her subordinates follow the enigmatic criminal tale, other parties including Section 6 starts to get involved, forcing her to confront that extremely complicated nature of the case. Pondering about various philosophical questions such as her own life's meaning, Motoko soon realizes that the one who will provide these answers to her is none other than the puppet master themselves. On the 6th number, the anime name is Tengen Toppa Gurren Laggan. To be honest, I would have never thought that I would enjoy a show where you can find excessive, over-adrenaline fights. This anime caught my attention just because of the very commotion of being such an overrated anime, or people calling it trash. Turned out that I was wrong to think that the anime would be a waste. To super galactic fights that our imagination never would have managed to have, we have Tengen Toppa Gurren Laggan, a plot that brings the story of a man who tries to forge his own destiny with his company and his friends. Sounds very simple, isn't it? It isn't it? But just because it is simple, it doesn't mean it lacks complexity, and it still will be easy to understand. The plot revolves in a very simple way. We can see the two main characters standing in the world in which they don't quite feel comfortable with. What would you do if you were on their shoes? On the surface, this seems like fairly straightforward plot, and you may be wondering what's so special about it. And that's the part of it. The story is a straightforward tale of two dreamers and the path they take. With zero weapons, zero plans, and a lot of guts, our main heroes tries to reach their destinies. On the 5th number, the anime name is Gundam Seed. In the year Cosmic Era 0071, the space colonist Heliopolis remains neutral in the Great War ranging across the galaxies between coordinators, who are the humans whose biological traits have been altered before birth, and naturals, unaltered people who remains on the planet Earth. The natural deep hatred of the coordinators drove the advanced beings into space, seeking shelter in man-made colonies. Kira Yamato is a coordinator and a university student in Heliopolis when his life is thrown into a disarray as ZAFT, the military organization composed of rebellious coordinators, attacks the colony in an effort to steal the set of 5 state-of-the-art military mobile suits known as Gundams. While ZAFT manages to make off with the 4 of the mobile suits, Kira takes control of the final Gundam, the Strike. Surviving in this battle, Kira and his college friends joins the crew of Archangel, a ship run by the Earth Alliance. And after that, the story follows the young soldiers experiencing the horrors of war and the loss that comes with it. On the 4th number, the anime name is Psycho-Pass. The series is most of all police sci-fi set in the near future. This rather sounds cliched, but Psycho-Pass manages to mix a variety of genres in non-confusing way. In the near future, the sci-fi is at all time present, whereas the police element is sometimes very prominent, making the series almost a crime detective series. And at the other times, more in the background, the series then focuses on either characters or the way the PP world functions. Likewise, it is in the action, coming more in the small bumps rather than being all-time present. The series offers only a limited amount of humor as well as discrete hints of romance. But you can find these things in other series. Drama in the series is often quite intense, sometimes even heartbreaking. This makes it easier to both relate the characters and understand more complicated parts of the story. And Psycho-Pass is one of those animes that you just can't miss. On the 3rd number, the anime name is Steins Gate. Steins Gate is about Okabe Rintaro, a mad scientist who spends his time hanging out in his laboratory with his friends Mayuri and Daru. Occasionally, they manages to invent futuristic gadgets, though these are never worth mentioning. The first few episodes may turn you down, because it seems like your general slice of life comedy anime. However, when their most interesting invention, the phone microwave, turns out to be able to send text messages through time, everything changes. The text messages sent to the past have a huge impact on the present. When Okabe in the horrifying way finds out about an evil organization called as Sen, he is forced to use the time-traveling methods to prevent them from getting captured and then stop their plans. This, around 9 episodes, is where the amazing sci-fi thriller fires up its engines and put the viewers on the edge of their seats. What follows is fascinating, somewhat complex plot which manages to blow your mind each episode. Steins Gate is not your generic time-traveling show. The plot is executed perfectly. Hardly ever before have I encountered such a well-thought plot like which is featured in the Steins Gate. The show features several jumps in the time but still manages to keep the viewer's attention without confusing them. The pace present in Steins is not lacking either. In fact, from the episode 9 onwards, the show holds a perfect pace. Piece by piece, the mysteries of the events that happens unveiled, working towards a fantastic, satisfying ending, which is very rare, of course, especially in the time-traveling animes. And plot-wise, Steins Gate is pretty much an unpresentable piece of art, and I think it might stay for a while. On the second number, the anime name is Neon Genesis Evangelion. A 14-year-old boy named Shinji is called to NERV, an organization charged with defending mankind from extinction, by his estranged, seemingly cold and calculating father. There, his father's first words are an order to pilot an immense robotic machine and fight against the monsters that's attacking Tokyo 3, the city under which NERV has its headquarters. These illusionary monsters are called angels and are seemingly invincible. Traditional weaponry, even in the year 2015, has minimal effect upon them. Only the EVA Biomax, which can be piloted solely by the certain selected 14-year-olds, can stop them. This is merely the basics initial premise of the series. As it goes on, everything gets a lot more complicated. There's a matrix of tons of mysteries, suspense, twists and turns in the Evangelion's plot, all routinely thought-provoking and intensely interesting. The characters in this anime are excellent. There is an important point that the series is more about them than about the angels or the NERV. Shinji Ikari is one of the most believable and genuinely sympathetic character ever conceived in anime. And if you don't know how you should start with the Evangelion franchise, then there is another video which I have already made which explains how you should start with this franchise. So just click on the I button right now and watch that video. On the first number, the anime name is Cowboy Bebop. The story is set in a space and western setting, a genre and setting that I am loving more and more for each show that I watch that falls under this genre. We follow two bounty hunters in this anime, Spike and Jet, who owns a ship called as Bebop. They travel the solar system chasing wanted criminals to earn money. Along the way, they also pick up two women. First is Faye Valentine and the second is Playful Kid and a computer genius Edward. Yes, Edward is a girl's name. Each episode brings about a new bounty which they chase after. And while that doesn't sound too exciting to watch 26 episodes in a row, you will end up loving the show. All in all, it's all really amazing. Don't have anything to say against voice acting and other sound effects either. All in all, Cowboy Bebop is an anime that is in the top tier of the greatness scale, and a show that I believe every anime fan should watch and give it a try once in his lifetime. And I think that was the video for top 10 best sci-fi animes of all time. If you enjoyed this video, if you have watched any of these animes, then let me know about your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you would like to add some animes, then leave those names in the comment section down below so other people can read and watch those animes too. And yeah, that was for today's video guys. If you enjoyed this video, just don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post daily anime content about top 10 top 5 listings, anime reviews, recommendations, news theories and all sort of anime content on daily basis. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, and that was it, and I will see you in the next one.